All right, so we are looking for number 7 in 1.6 homework. Describe all numbers x that are a distance of 1/2. So in general, if these are all the numbers that are a distance of, so that's my tolerance, so I want to be within a distance of 1/2 from the number the number is going to go here. So it's going to be from the number -4, so it's going to be -4. And if it's of a distance of, then it goes here. So it's really absolute value of x plus 4 is less than 1/2. Okay, that's 7. Let's look at number 9. Find all the function values f of x such that the distance from f of x to the value of 8. So this was number 7. If I go for number 9, so all the function values. So that's going to be my f of x. That's what I want to be, a distance to the value. So I want to go to the value 8. So this is to the value. So this is to the value. Oh, poop. Let me grab it. To the value. And remember that this means distance. Same thing here. Don't forget that this means distance. So in this case, I want all my function values to be how close to 8? I want it to be less than 0.03 units. So it'd be that. So this says that my function is within 0.3 of 8, which is pretty amazing. So all this is going to be used later on to talk and to speak in calculus in ways that make sense, even more so than this does now. So let's look at number 17. So number 17 is 5x minus 4 minus 7 is equal to 2. So we know first we want to isolate the absolute value. We want to get it by itself. So I add 7, and then I divide by 4, right? I'm sorry, divide by 5. So I add 7, I divide by 5, I get this. Now, if I say that my size is 9/5, the only way that your absolute value, whatever you are, is 9/5 is if on the number line, you're either sitting over here at positive 9/5 or you're sitting over here at negative 9/5, yes? So that means that my stuff was either equal to 9/5 or it was equal to negative 9/5. In terms of the number 4, it means that if you are a distance away, you either went 9/5 this way or you went 9/5 this way to land on this spot or this spot away from 4. Let's see what spot on the number line that would be. Well, if you add 4, it's going to be 9/5 plus 4. But that's 9/5 plus, well, if I hit this with a 5/5, I get 20/5. So it'd be 29/5 if I walk to the right, a positive 9/5. If I walk to the left, a negative 9/5, then I'm going to be at 4 and subtract 9/5. So it's going to be 20/5 minus 9/5, and that's going to be 11/5. And there are your two answers. All right, so that's 17. Now we need 23. So for 23, I need the absolute value of 1/3 of an x plus 5 is equal to 14. Well, the only way that that can happen for number 23 is if my stuff was either equal to 14 or my stuff was equal to negative 14. That's the only way an absolute value can be equal to 14 is if that stuff was 14 or that stuff was negative 14. One of the two, positive or negative. Okay. So now I have two equations to solve. I got 1/3 of an x is equal to 9. Multiplying by 3, I get 27. Over here subtracting, I get 19. And then multiplying, I get 19 times 3 is 30 plus 27 is 57. It's going to be negative 57, and those are your two possible answers. Right? Let me subtract, make sure everything's right. Okay, so that's 23. Let's look at 29. 29. Okay, I've got the absolute value of x minus 2 is greater than 10. Well, first, I could really understand it. This is my distance, x's that are greater than 10 from the number 2. So my distance from 2 is larger than 10. So here's the number 2, and I want to either be out 10 this way or 10 this way. You can be 10 or bigger, actually. You need to be bigger than 10 away. So you're out here, or you're bigger than 10 away out here. I think that means you're bigger than 12, or you're, if this is 0, if I subtract that, that's going to be what, negative 8 over here? So it looks like my answer for my picture is negative infinity to negative 8, or 12 to infinity. So we reasoned our way to an answer with pictures. Let's see if we can use the algebra. So if my absolute value is greater than 10, then that means when I walked from 2, I either walked more than 10 away, or in the negative direction, I walked less than negative 10 away. I was less than a negative 10, right? That would put me out on these two ends. So it either means I'm greater than 12 or I'm less than negative 8. Do you see how with the algebra and the picture we got the same answer? On a high stakes exam, I need you to show this. I think it also helps if you think that, but this is what I would need to see. Maybe I'll let you guys know that this is optional and this is required. Okay. All right, so now what does that mean? If x is less than negative 8, again, we would write it in this way. If x is greater than 12, we'd write it this way, and then maybe you put a union between it. All right, so that's 29. Let's do the last one, number 31, and maybe I get to chill for a second before class. 31. The absolute value of 3x minus 4 is less than or equal to 8. So I have some stuff, and the size of that stuff is less than or equal to 8. So it means that that stuff is in between 8 and negative 8. It's somewhere in here in terms of its size, all of this. So that means this stuff is either less than or equal to 8 or greater than or equal to negative 8. It must be somewhere in here. Excuse me. So notice when we have this less than or equal to, we're always going to be working with a compound inequality. So if you now add 4 to each piece of the compound inequality, you get 3x is less than or equal to 12, greater than or equal to negative 4. And then if you divide by 3, you get that x is in between 4 and negative 4/3. So we would say negative 4/3 to 4 including, and they're both including because we have equals. Great work. See you next time.